I've been in the oil field long enough to know when something feels wrong. Most guys ignore that instinct. We pretend we're tougher than the dark, tougher than the night, tougher than the things that sometimes move just outside the light towers. But the night I met the bone weaver, I learned real quick that some things on a frac site should never be ignored. My name's Cole Mercer. I've been a wireline hand, a frac operator, a pump tech, whatever was needed to keep a site running. I come from a family of oilfield hands too. Dad ran coil tubing. My uncle was a company man in the Permian. My brother works rigs out in North Dakota. I say all that so you know this. I'm not the kind of guy who scares easy. I've seen blowouts, flash fires, cables snap like bullwhips. I've seen things that would make most people quit on the spot, but nothing. Nothing prepared me for the night on pad 12B. It started with a call out at 2:30 in the morning. We'd had a pressure anomaly on the zipper manifold, huge spike, then an immediate plummet. It looked like a sensor glitch, but the company man didn't want to risk a stage delay. So they sent me and Jared, one of our new hires, to go take a look. Jared was tall, wiry, talked too much, still had that newbie confidence like nothing could go wrong. He was walking around in the dark like it was a playground. You ever notice how dead it gets out here? He asked me as we crossed the pad, steam rising off the lines. Like, too quiet? It's 3 in the morning, I said. Everything's dead at 3 in the morning. But I felt it too. That strange deadness. No wind. No equipment hissing. Just silence clinging to everything. And the smell like old bones baking in the sun. We reached the zipper manifold. Everything looked normal except for the sensor housing, which was hanging loose like it had been ripped open. Not broken, not cracked, ripped. I crouched down and ran my glove along the metal. The edges were frayed, almost like fibers had been pulled apart. Metal doesn't tear like that. Maybe a line snapped, Jared said. Nothing snaps upward, I muttered. He swallowed hard. That's when we heard it. A faint clicking sound. Tick, tick, tick. Like someone tapping bone against metal. It came from under the manifold trailer. Probably a coyote, Jared whispered. Coyotes don't click. We lifted our lights toward the gap beneath the trailer, and something shifted. Smooth, deliberate, too fluid to be human. A shape unfolded in the shadows, not crawled, unfolded. We stepped back at the same time. I raised my radio. Static, nothing but static. Let's move, I whispered. But Jared didn't. His light was fixed under the trailer. Cole, he said, voice trembling. What is that? I aimed my light, and for the first time I saw it. A hand, or something shaped like one, gripped the steel support beam. Except the fingers were long, segmented, and pale, like polished bone. Not skin, not flesh, bone. And they shifted, like bones rearranging inside themselves. Then it pulled itself out, piece by piece, like a spider made of human bones weaving itself together as it emerged. Ribs slid into place. Long bones snapped into new angles. A skull, but stretched, wrong, the jaw hanging too far down. Latched onto a spine that wasn't human. The whole thing clicked and clattered as it assembled, as if building itself from the inside out. Jared froze. I grabbed his vest. We're leaving, now. But it turned toward us. and the sound it made. It wasn't a growl. It was like someone dragging a femur across gravel. We ran. Equipment blurred past us, lights strobing. Every footstep on the steel grating echoed like we were being chased through a metal coffin. Behind us, tick, tick, tick. Not fast, but steady, like it didn't need to rush, like it already knew how this would end. We reached the Frac van and slammed the door behind us. The night shift engineer looked up from the monitors. What the hell happened to you two? Something's on site, Jared gasped. A person, the engineer asked. No, I said. Not a person, not an animal. Then what? I opened my mouth, stopped, because I didn't have a word for it. The Frac van lights flickered, once, twice, then everything went black. The generator was still running outside. I could hear it. But inside the van, every monitor went dead. And in that darkness, the bone clicking began again. Right outside. The door tick, 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 tick. Slow, deliberate, like a code, like it wanted us to open the door. Backup lights, the engineer yelled, fumbling around, but the breaker panel was dead. Every system fried. That's when the banging started on the van walls. First a soft tap and then a harder one. Then something scraped downward. Long, slow, dragging bone across steel. Jared backed into the corner. That thing followed us. No, I whispered. It hunted us. The roof dented inward just a little as something heavy crawled across it. We stared upward. Dust rained down. Metal popped. The crawling wasn't random. It was careful, intentional, like it was choosing where to strike. I held my breath, then it stopped, right above the door. Without warning, the entire van lurched. Something massive hit the side, nearly flipping us off the leveling pads. The engineer screamed. Jared ducked, covering his head. I grabbed the emergency pry bar. What are you doing? Jared yelled. If it gets in here, I said, we're dead. Another hit rocked the van. I threw open the back hatch and jumped out. The cold air hit me like a slap. Steam rose from the iron trees, drifting in long, thin sheets. The site was too quiet again, too still. I circled the van, pry bar raised. Nothing. No movement. Only the distant glow of the pump trucks. Then I sensed it. A shift in the shadows behind me. Cole. Jared had crawled halfway out the hatch, his face drained of color. Up behind you. I turned. The bone weaver was standing on the Sand Kings, its limbs bent at unnatural angles, ribs jutting like antlers. It wasn't fully formed now. Pieces of bone drifted around it like they were tethered by invisible strings, clicking softly as they rotated into place. And then it spoke, not in words, in sound. It scraped a broken tibia across the metal railing, slow and rhythmic like a message. I felt it in my jaw, in my chest, in my bones. Jared collapsed, clutching his head. Make it stop. Please make it stop. The bone weaver tilted its skull and jumped. It moved faster than anything that size should. It landed 10 feet from us, bones cracking, shifting, rearranging on impact. Its head rotated too far like a predator fixing on prey. I grabbed Jared and pulled him to his feet. We sprinted toward the light tower, the only bright point on the pad. The weaver followed, bones clattering in a frenzy. We slid under the tower and climbed the ladder. Halfway up, Jared slipped, nearly falling. I hauled him up, breath burning in my chest. The Weaver slammed into the tower's base, shaking it violently. "Go," I yelled. We reached the platform. I looked down. The thing was already climbing, but not like a human. It crawled sideways, limbs bending backward, bone talons digging into the steel lattice. The tower swayed. Jared panicked, yelling, "It's coming up, it's coming up." I grabbed his collar. "Jump!" "What?" "The sand pile. We'll survive the fall." He stared at me like I was insane. The Weaver's hand, long, skeletal, awful, reached the platform edge. The bones spiraled, twisting around themselves like a living drill. I didn't hesitate. I shoved Jared off the platform, then I jumped after him. We hit the sand pile hard, sinking halfway into it. My spine felt like it cracked, but I forced myself up. The tower shook above us as the Weaver reached the top. And then it shrieked, a sound like snapping femurs mixed with metal tearing. It leapt. We were already running, and this time, we didn't look back. We made it to the safety shack, locked every latch, barricaded the door with anything we could find. The frac van was destroyed. The lights on the pad flickered on and off like a dying heartbeat. And in the distance, standing on the sand pile, the Weaver watched us. Not chasing, not attacking, just watching, like it was studying us, like it knew. We were trapped until daylight. We stayed in that shack till sunrise. When the morning crew showed up, they found us shaking and pale. The sand pile, covered in tracks, bone-shaped impressions, deep, deliberate, but the Weaver was gone. And no one believed us, not really. They chalked it up to exhaustion, a night shift panic attack, maybe even gas exposure. But every now and then, a night operator swears they hear clicking out on the far end of the pad, or a pressure sensor gets ripped clean off its mount, or a tower ladder feels watched. I left the oil field 2 months later. Jared quit the same week. And some nights, when the wind dies and the world gets too quiet, I hear it again. Tick, tick, tick. Like bones weaving themselves into something hungry, something patient, something waiting to be whole again.